The next thing I'm doing now is we are cutting out. So what do we need? The first thing we are going to do, we have our measurement ready. So we are going to start measure. We are going to divide the waist and the hip by 4. So we have the waist to be 32 divided by 4. We have 8 inches for the waist. Waist is 8 inches. And for my hip here, I have divided by 4. I'm going to have something like 9.25. So remember we said we are going to add 1 inches to it. So we have 1 plus 1. So 8 plus 1, we have 9 inches. So our new waist, will be 9 inches and our hip will be 10.25. So now let's measure. So the waist will be 8.25 and it will be 8 inches. This is the waist here. So we have the 8, then I'm adding 1 inches to it to give me 9. So I have something like this side here. Then I'm going to measure from my waist. So I'm going to measure from my waist down 8 inches. That is where my hip is. And remember we cut by the hip. So we are just going to curve from the edge of the fabric to where our waist measurement is. Just curve like this to join this side here. From here, just curve like this. Then we are done. Then we can get ready to sew. So I'm going to cut just to create the hip and to give the waist a fitted section. Make sure, I forgot to add, make sure you don't cut on this folded part. You cut where there is opening. You cut where there is opening, you don't cut for the folded part. If you cut from the folded part, you've already ruined the clothes. So I have this. So I have this now. I have the front and I have the back. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to take I have the front and I have the back. So I'm just going to create an opening here since we didn't shape down. Since it's just a basic skirt, so we don't need much work. So I'm just cutting down. So we're going to have front and back. So now, since our skirt just have this, if you are working on a non-stretchy fabric, you may do 2 things. 1, make sure you don't measure the waist if you are not going to have a zipper, because the reason why I'm saying this is that we don't have to, maybe I'm going to take a tutorial on a non-stretchy fabric for the skirt so that we are going to understand this perfectly. So maybe we should just hang it there. So we have this skirts now, we have this non-stretchy fabric, we have this. So I have the front and I have the back. So what next? I'm going to create the band. So let's fold it. Then we take from part of the scrap of fabric that we have used. So we're going to make a band. So I think this is the smallest. So now, to get the band for a skirt, the first thing we are going to do, since we are working on non-stretchy fabric, we have to look at the stretchiness. This is stretchy and this is not stretchy. So like I said, you take the stretchy one to be for the width and you take the non-stretchy one to be for the length. So now, the width that we need is the waist. The waist is 32 inches. So we need to get 32 inches. We are going to add a seam allowance. Since it's a stretchy fabric, so we're just going to add 1 inch to it. So we're going to have 33 inches. Now let's see if we have that. Yeah. For it into two, so I'm going to measure 16.5. So I'm placing it on the table. This is the stretchiness, this is the most stretchy part, and this is not as stretchy as this. So I'm going to create the band. The band is not going to be much, it's just going to be 2 inches. So I'm going to measure 16.5 here. So let me just refold it so that I'm not going to waste fabric, because we don't have to be wasting fabric. Every fabric is important. So we have this. I'm going to take my, so we have 16.5, and it's 2 inches down. So I'm going to measure 2 inches. But because we are going to fold it, so we are going to measure 2 and 2 inches, so to give us 4. But because when folding, we may likely lose some, let's just measure 4 inches. So we have 4 inches here. Then we'll measure the 4 inches here as well. Then we can just cut out. You don't cut on the chalk, you cut behind the chalk. So we have the band ready. So the next thing we are going to do now is just to go to our sewing machine and sew. So we have the band ready, stretchy. So we are going to go to our sewing machine, attach the band to the skirt, then we sew. But before then, let's separate the front and let's divide the band into half. Let's just leave it. Let's leave it. Then let's go to this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take some office pin. Then I'm going to attach it to where I want my fabric to be. So I'm just going to attach it down. I'm going to attach it. So you can attach it down after measuring where you want to sew. So you just attach it. Let's say you want 1 inch seam allowance. I have my tape. My waist now, remember we said the waist was 32 inches. So divided by 2, we have 16. And since we are having seam allowance too, we have to consider that. So we have 16 inches here. That means we are just going to sew just tiny little bits now. So we have to always measure. We measure twice, then you sew once. So we are going to go to the sewing machine now, place it on our sewing machine, then we sew before we attach it. Then I'm sewing down the back stitch. repeat again. Now we sew the other side as well. Just straight down. This time around, I'm going to measure my width, the half of my waist. Because I want it to be quite fitted. So I'm removing the pin. Then I'll place it on my sewing machine. Then I'll sew. What I'm going to do is I'm going to join the band. So I'm placing the band on the machine, then I'll sew down. So this is what I've done. Then the next thing I'm going to do here is to fold it into two. Fold it into two. Folding the band equally into two. If you have an iron, you can just iron it down. So you are going to have a specific space. So after folding it into half now, the next thing I'm going to do here is that I'm going to join it to my skirt. But I'm going to make sure it blends well before joining it to the skirt. So that is what I'm doing. I'm just trying to blend it well before joining it to my skirt. So I have the skirt with me. So we have the skirt here. So we're going to take where we join, one of where we join. I'm placing it here. I'm going to sew it on the right side. Just place it like this. So that they are going to line. And I'll place it on my sewing machine. Then I'll sew around the waist of the skirt. You can use a pin to make it easier for you. So I'm taking it to the sewing machine. Make sure you don't stretch it.